The life of a narcissist is like a well-constructed performance, one meticulously chosen to uphold their sense of control and superiority. Throughout their relationships, they manipulate everyone around them to meet their intense need for validation, acting as the charming spouse, the victimizing friend, or the misunderstood genius. But the narcissist looks to their most dependable tactic, securing and controlling fresh supplies. As their web of lies falls apart and their neatly built reality starts to collapse, their final move is a frantic attempt to control their planet as it collapses. To comprehend why a narcissist behaves in this manner, it is essential to first understand the fundamentals of their personality. Narcissists, lacking a robust sense of self-worth, depend on external sources to bolster their fragile egos. These outside validations, admiration, attention, or praise, are the narcissistic supply they most sorely require. Whether personal failing, public disclosure of their dishonesty, or the breakdown of a relationship, they rush to find fresh suppliers when things start to go apart. Their lifeline, their one means of maintaining the illusion of control, narcissists frequently lose control of their current supply, and their world begins to fall apart. Friends and relatives may begin to distance themselves. Couples may begin to see through the facade, and work contacts may deteriorate as their true nature becomes apparent. By now, the narcissist starts to panic. In their desperation, they turn their attention to new supplies, fresh targets unaware of the narcissist's actual nature and who may be readily controlled since they realize they are losing control. The way the narcissist controls fresh supplies is sometimes quick and brutal. They often had this new supply ready before their world started to collapse. By nature, narcissists are opportunistic. They constantly hunt out possible new sources of affirmation and appreciation. Often the new supplier is someone who is emotionally fragile, ignorant, or unaware. The narcissist's charm, flattery, and attentiveness swiftly draw them in, unaware that they are preparing to replace the previous supply. Once the new supply is in place, the narcissist uses a range of techniques to control them, usually applying the same ones that proved successful on past targets. One of the most commonly used strategies is love bombing, in which the narcissist lavishes excessive attention, praise, and affection on his new supply during the early stages of the relationship. This excessive show of love makes the new supply seem unique and sought for, therefore generating a false sense of security. But this is only a front. Once the narcissist believes they have found their new source of validation, they will start to control and manipulate them exactly as they did with past relationships. There is still some manipulation involved. Often, the narcissist uses their new supply as a means to rebuild their damaged image, only to find their world disintegrating. They could present their newfound wealth to others as proof of their continued success and control. Showing their new relationship helps them to restore their tarnished reputation and win the respect they so yearn for. Despite the fact that the new supply is merely another pawn in their game, they typically do this to inflame their old partner's feelings by demonstrating that they've moved on and found a better match. Using jealousy, rivalry, and competitiveness to keep control over both sides, narcissists are also well known for triangulating. That is, for manipulating friction between their old and new supplies. In order to gain compassion and allegiance from their new supply, narcissists often portray themselves as the victim in their previous relationship, accusing their former partner of being toxic or insane. They may also continue to reach out to the elderly supply, attempting to entice them with small gestures of affection or deceptive promises of transformation. This creates a disorganizing and chaotic dynamic that traps old and new supplies in the narcissist's web. As their reality collapses, narcissists become more desperate to maintain control. Since the narcissist's brittle ego is in crisis, the manipulation of fresh supply is more forceful. They will use falsehood, dishonesty, and emotional manipulation to keep the new supply enthralled and away from reality. To make sure they won't leave when the fractures in the narcissist's facade eventually show, the narcissist may even hasten their methods of manipulation, forcing the new supply into even more degrees of dependency and control. Still, the pattern finally repeats itself. As with all narcissistic relationships, once lavished in love and devotion, the new supply will shortly enter the depreciation phase. Once their demand for validation is no longer being met in the expected manner, the narcissist will start to criticize, degrade, and emotionally abuse the new supply. By this point, the new supply may have begun to recognize the patterns of manipulation, leading to the breakdown of the connection. However, the narcissist is already searching for their next supply source, always prepared to repeat the cycle with someone new. The narcissist's last act, manipulating new supplies as their reality collapses, is not about real love or connection. Narcissists, essentially divorced from their own feelings and those of others, struggle to establish deep, meaningful connections. Their interactions are transactional. Every person they bring into their orbit fulfills a need, whether it is to preserve their image, validate them, or raise their ego. They double down on their manipulation techniques, using fresh supply as a means of self-preservation, while avoiding the emotional repercussions of their acts when their world starts to fall apart instead of considering their conduct or trying to change. Knowing this final act can be both liberating and terrible for individuals singled out by a narcissist. Observing a narcissist quickly transition to a new partner can be difficult, especially when they appear to be flourishing with their new partner, leaving you to pick up the pieces. Remember, though, that what you are seeing is an illusion. The narcissist is neither contented nor has they discovered someone better. They are just running the same cycle of manipulation, covering their own emotional emptiness with a fresh supply. Ultimately, the narcissist acts in desperation, a last-ditch attempt to keep control as their universe collapses. Their manipulation of fresh supplies comes from fear, not from love or devotion. They are afraid of being exposed, they are afraid of being alone, and they are afraid of losing the affirmation that keeps their fragile ego intact. The cycle will persist until the narcissist confronts the emptiness within. In the meantime, they will continue to manipulate new resources, resulting in a trail of damaged relationships and mistrust.